Okay, let's move to the next trip. And this piece of information that kind of locked it in for you. So for those of you who don't know, every region that activates on day one, there's a poem. That's what he's referring to, is the day one poem, we call it. And it's really difficult and long. And if you solve it, it'll take you right up to it. So they're always working the poem. Even though there's 2 clues coming out a day after that, they're still trying to solve this poem. So now he's going to talk about his last trip and how he figured it out using the poem.
So after it was our 4th day of hunting, after the escape room, I had several days to do some research, and the purple castle she mentioned was always still in my mind. And so I started researching the purple castle. And as I researched it, I found this, which is the King's Chef menu. And on the King's Chef menu, you have the thing, which is the poem talks about shaking things hand. And you have the grump, which she figured out the poem talks about the grouch. And they also have the Sam special, and this talks about Sam I Am. And I also thought of green eggs and ham. They sell green chili eggs and ham here. And there's also a wizard on their menu, and the poem, there's a lot of mentions of the wizard, and there's also a picture of the genie coming out of a genie lamp on the menu. And so when we saw this, I took a screenshot and I sent it to them, and I'm all, look at this. And they said, oh my God, that's it. But we were still, all the disappointment, we didn't want to get too optimistic. And also, it talks about Wonka. We kept trying to associate with that, with chocolate. But if you look around in here, everything's purple and yellow, and that's kind of Wonka colors. And so, yeah, we didn't want to get too optimistic, but we did get excited about finding this, and this was the key. So that prompted me. I had almost given up at that point, but that's when I thought, well, I got to go down there one more time and look at the castle. And I had another location in mind too, but I wanted to follow up on this.
Okay, let's have you guys sit down. Thank you. So I wanted everyone to understand that he came across this old menu, I think. Gary, is this old? Yeah. So they've updated it since then. So he found this menu, the King Chef Diner menu, on the internet. And he was able to tie this, the whole family helped him tie it into this poem. And I'm going to tell you that I never saw this menu before. Apparently, the person who makes the poem must have seen it, though. That person is my daughter, so she knew what she was doing when she wrote that poem. She writes all the poems. They're very difficult, but that shows you some cleverness. The clues get you closer and closer. Fernie found this lamp, his family, in 43 days from the day we activated this region. That's fast for $200,000. It's a pretty good payday, right, for 43 days of hunting. We didn't even get to the clues about the King Chef Diner. He just found this menu because his daughter said, look at that purple castle. You see how that all worked? That had nothing really, they worked at it. They're like, okay, research, find a menu. Okay, now let's put that against the poem. Okay. And then we're going to start now from his next trip. So what happened next?
So I got up that morning, and the day before was my birthday, but we had spent that bowling and at the movies. So this was the next day. And I thought, well, what am I going to do with today? Maybe I'll go down to Colorado Springs and do some treasure hunting. So I told them, hey, girls, I'm going to Colorado Springs. You're going to go look for the treasure. And, it's a long drive. You drive through Denver. And the disappointment from the escape room, they were like, no, we're going to go back to bed. I was like, all right, I'm going to head down there. And my thought was, okay, I'm going to go to King Chef and get some breakfast. And that's one of the locations I want to look at. And so I drove down here, and I got to the castle, and I wanted breakfast. And instead, I didn't get breakfast, but I took a look around. And so I I looked right at it, but he had it disguised. And I knew I was looking for a ammo can based on my previous experience seeing the previous winners. I knew it was protected by an ammo can. And so I was looking for a green ammo can. But I looked right at it and I started to walk away. And that's when I looked down and I saw a rug. Now, the day before, I had purchased an Advantage clue, which is pictures from the lamp's perspective. And I recognized the rug from the Advantage clue I had purchased the previous day. So that stopped me in my tracks. And I was like, I got to take a closer look. That's the rug. And I started looking again at the electrical utility boxes. And when I took a close look at it, the box is stamped with property of TGS. And when I saw that, I can't even describe the feeling. My heart jumped. I just started shaking. It's like I found a treasure. And my first thought was, oh, I wish they had come with me. Why did they come with me? This would have been perfect. And I also thought, well, I got to start filming because that's part of the rules. Like, I got to film this. And so I took out my camera and I knew I had to scan the codes. So I scanned the codes. I got into the box and I pulled out the lamp. And when I pulled out the lamp, I took a selfie with it and I sent it to them. Yeah.
Just a picture.
I wanted them to get the picture all at once and they get it and be like, what is this? And that's exactly.
Is this it? Is this the lamp? I kept telling them, I was showing them, and I was like, did he get it? Did he get it? Then they're like, he did. And we all just started screaming.
You guys had a little group chat text going on.
Yeah, and then we called him and we had it. Yeah.
Called him.
Yeah, so she called me. Amber called me. And she said, is that it? Did you get it? Yes, I got it. And just lots of screaming,
Just
I'm so
screaming.
excited.
lots of excitement.
I got a cake. Yeah.
Got him a cake.
Yeah.
So after I finished talking to them, I was like, well, what now? I got the lamp. Now what? And my phone rang, and it's not a number I recognized, but I was like, I better answer this phone call. So I answered the phone call, and Dirk says, this is Dirk Gibson. Do you know who I am? Yes, I know who you are. He said, did you find something? I found the lamp, I told him. He said, where are you? I'm at King Chef Diner on Costilla. And he said, congratulations, you found the treasure.
Then I connected him to Gary and made sure we followed all the rules and all that. But that's the great thing about the security cameras that we have, is that I get a notification. We have tracking devices in the boxes or whatever the containers they're in. And so we know when someone scans that immediately. I know. I get a notification that says someone scanned. Doesn't mean they won, because they could have broke the rules. So they still got to be vetted. And I was walking out the door with my family. I'm like, somebody found the lamp already. 43 days. I'm like, oh my God, I got to go up to my office and call. And so I had to look him up, and he's in our system. And so, like, if they're not subscribed and they can't prove how they won, they don't win. So he got right away. I'm like, are you a subscriber? Da, 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 da. And so it's kind of a fun thing for me, because I never know when it's going to happen. And it's fun I have all their phone numbers. So I just call them, and they're right in the middle of it. Like, I'm still here. And I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Good for you. So, and it helps because they don't know what to do next, so they're so happy that they don't realize when they scan it, it's not just the code to unlock the box. There's all these instructions there. So far, the two winners don't read that. They're just like swiping, like, how do I get the prize? And so that was fun to talk to him right after that. And he was very emotional. And what was it like for you guys waiting for him to come home?
The anticipation was crazy. We just sat there all day just waiting for him to walk through the door, just like almost on the couch, just sitting there like,
Yeah, just waiting for him to come home was
Yeah.
just, it felt like forever.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
just
It
forever.
was
When
like,
is he gonna get home?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You did a good job. And I'm hoping, I know that we have some very dedicated treasure hunters in our platform. There's over 3,000 of them now, and it grows daily now because people are realizing it's real. and we have great intentions to spread wealth. So it's just really picking up with people. But we have this kind of community building that's very positive, and I would say hardcore loyal to Treasure Games. And every time someone wins, they learn. They're learning right now. Believe me, the ones who play, one of them's here right now. They're listening to this differently. They're like, okay, so it was this way. So one of the things I will point out, and I don't want to give away too much, but it's obvious in this one because you're going to see our interviews with Fernie showing you where he actually found it at the Purple Castle, which is this one here. That's where the other Chef's Diner is located somewhere else. This is Purple Castle, and my partner Chad and I came down here and planted it in, I don't know when it was, October maybe, somewhere in there. And we disguised it because there was no landscaping to look like a utility box. So it was with all the electrical boxes and power, they're all locked, it was safe, but Chad painted it so it looked like it was, and we have footage of people staring at it every day. People in Colorado Springs would park there at the restaurant and they would sit there with the cars facing it. They were staring like 10 feet away, and people walking by hunting missed it. He saw the carpet. He was leaving too. You can see it on our security footage that he was like 2 feet away from it. He did not know that was it. And it's the most exposed one we've hidden. Like, is literally sitting out. Someone, after we showed a picture of him, someone found it on Google Earth. They zoomed in on it and saw it from their home somewhere in the United States. They found the lamp, which was kind of scary for me. But anyway, so it was disguised to look like a utility box. It was totally exposed sitting there. And it was because he bought the Treasure View. We leak out these pictures you can buy every 30 days. And they're hard to figure out what they are because it's zoomed in. So anything can look like just a piece of black. You don't know what it is until you get enough. But there was a piece of carpet and he was walking away. You can see it on security camera and he goes, oh, and he walks back and he gets close and goes, oh, and his heart jumped and you could hear it on his security camera. And he goes, oh, because his life changed.
Yeah.
Yes.
In an
Right?
instant.
He knew this was going to help his family. And that's what Treasure Game's about, spreading wealth and helping people.